Good evening, everyone. Doug Burson here, CPA with Paget Business Services in Lee Summit, Missouri. And tonight we're going to talk about how do we code the PPP loan. I know it's a question many of you have, and we've had a lot of discussion on this very topic in our own office here. And the IRS, just to make things even more confusing, the IRS last week determined that the expenses related to the PPP loan are not deductible. So that even makes it more complicated. So how do we know when that they aren't deductible? And how do we know how much has been forgiven? And when will it be forgiven? Well, we just don't know all the answers to that. We think we do, but until it's actually forgiven, we don't know for sure what the right number will be because it hasn't been forgiven yet. So with all that in mind, tonight I've decided to take the time and go through what we feel is going to be the best way to code this loan and these proceeds, because there's more than one loan, code these proceeds and the expenses to have you in the best position to make sure not only that you get them forgiven, but that you also have a profit and loss that is reflective of what is really going on in your business. So that is what we're going to do tonight. Now, if you haven't seen our other videos, this one right here, it goes through a basic spreadsheet of how to track how much you have spent to make sure you don't miss it. And so that's going to be done a lot of times before you do your accounting work, and it's going to be very helpful for you. So if you haven't seen that video, take a look at that, and I think that's going to be helpful to you as well, and maybe demystify some of this and make it simpler. But with all that being said, let's jump right into this and take a look at how we're going to do this. And tonight we're going to go through it in Xero. It's a software that I feel is great for small business and medium business too, but it really can be very helpful and useful to you, and it's a program that we support here in our office. And if you feel all this is really too overwhelming, well then go here to our website, send us a message, and maybe you'll be the right fit to work with us, and maybe we can assist you in this. But let's get right into it. Okay, so here we are inside of Xero, and we're at your dashboard. Name of this company, Sample Remodeling LLC. And so here we are, we're going to reconcile these items. So the first thing that's going to happen in this whole process is we're going to receive money. It's going to be in the form of the grant, probably with the 7B. A lot of you got 1,000, 2,000, up to a maximum of 10,000. And then there are also going to be those of you who got the 7A loan or the PPP loan. And then some of you, not nearly as many, but some of you have actually got the 7B loan too. So let's look right here. So inside we have received a $50,000 deposit for our 7A loan. Problem is we have to figure out how we're going to code this. So what we want to do is I want you to go to Accounting and Chart of Accounts. The same process if you're using QuickBooks too, a little bit different, but we're going to be doing the same thing. So in the case of this, we've gotten a 7A loan. And so we don't have a loan already set up inside of Xero, so we're going to need to add an account. And we can see here our chart of accounts. So we're going to go and add an account. Now the account type, we're going to choose a non-current liability. And I say that because two things are going to happen with this loan for most people. One, it's all going to be forgiven, and then that's not really going to matter. Or two, it's going to turn into a 2-year loan with a 1% interest rate. So that's a long-term loan. So that's why I'm choosing to do a non-current liability. And in our chart of account system, in the case of this one, we're going to use 280. Your chart of account numbering system may be a little different. We have 100 as assets for us, 200 are liabilities. So that's how we're getting to that here. So 280, the number is not as important as the fact that you called it a non-current liability. And then we're going to name this, our 7A SBA loan. Now, if you already have a 7A loan, you can choose to name it something different, maybe 7A PPP loan. That would be completely okay as well. And then we're going to choose Save. Now, while I'm here, and I know that we also got the grant money, I'm going to go ahead and set up an account for that as well. But what's different about the grant is we know that that is money that is going to be forgiven. We don't have to pay that one back, and that's that way right from the start. So that's not a loan. So in the case of that one, we're going to use an account for other income, and the code that we're going to use in our chart of accounts is 706. Generally, that number is going to be all the way down below the income in an area where you have things such as tax discounts, other income, gain or loss from sale of assets. So in your chart of account numbering system, that's where we would want to be, but it's going to be in other income. And for that one, I'm going to call it the 7B grant and save. So now we just set up two accounts so that we can now handle the loan. That's one of the hardest parts, right? So we've done that. And in Xero, we're going to go back to the dashboard. And we're now going to go to reconcile. So here we have $50,000. And we're going to go ahead and put that now into the account that we just set up, 7A SBA loan. There you have it. And now we just click OK. We have now coded our 7A loan. It really was that easy. But in this case, you also got the $4,000 for the 7B. But remember, we already took care of that. So here we go with entering that one. And voila. So now we have now coded both our revenue from the 7A or the loan, and then we've also coded in the grant. So we've now recorded them, we've created the chart of accounts, and we've actually recorded them into Xero, and we've actually gotten it done. So then the next thing comes up is, okay, Doug, what about the expenses? They've said they're not deductible. Well, they said they're not deductible in relation to the forgiveness of the loan. But at this point, the loan has not yet been forgiven. So what I think is the right thing to do is you're just going to code it like you normally would. So I'm not going to worry about these other transactions. So in Xero, if you'd been using it all along, this would have auto-coded for you already. But since this is a demo company, we're going to have to go ahead and set it up. So in this case, Paget Business Services. And then OK. Same thing with our insurance. The employer's portion of the insurance, we're just going to code like you normally would. And the insurance for the employer's portion, you're going to code that to your expense account just like you normally would. Okay, so now we've done our payroll, and that's how you're going to do any of the other expenses. We're just going to code them like normal. There's no point in making this complicated because you're going to have good records. We're going to have that spreadsheet that you have, that you're tracking all your expenses so you know you're using the right amount. We're going to have your payroll reports. Those payroll reports are going to be used to show all the payroll that was done properly. We're going to have the bank statements that are going to match up to that. We're also going to have the general ledger that we're creating right here showing what we paid in payroll, what we paid in rent, what we paid in utilities. It's all going to be there. And then once we submit all that to the bank and the bank has forgiven it, then once we have that forgiveness, we will then do a journal entry to pull them out of the deductible expenses and move them into a non-deductible section on your profit and loss. However, if Congress does what they said, they may allow us to go ahead and have the deduction. So there's no point in moving things all around until we really have the forgiveness and we also have final guidance. And once we do that, I'll make another video and I'll show you how simple it's going to be to make that journal entry and move it wherever we need to at that point in time. So that should get you started. Hopefully that takes care of you. If you have any questions, leave them below. I've been trying to keep up with those. And if this is just more than you can handle, give us a ring. Maybe you'll be the right fit to become a client with us, and we'll go from there. For that, and with that, hopefully this has been helpful, and we'll see you again soon.